Hey, what's up everybody? This is Dr. Andrew Kim, MD, and today's video is on a COVID-19 vaccine update. That's right, yesterday, December 2nd, 2020, there was groundbreaking news that we have taken a big step forward in the fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. A COVID-19 vaccine was approved by the UK for emergency use. That's right, the UK, or United Kingdom, has become the first nation to approve the COVID-19 vaccine that was made by the US drug company Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech. Now, you've probably heard and seen a lot of headlines about a lot of different vaccines being made, but today's video is about the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine that has been approved by the UK for emergency use, and it is planned to be rolled out as soon as next week to be used in its country, okay? So look, let's go over the facts about this Pfizer BioNTech vaccine for those of you who are not familiar with this. Now, obviously, probably the first question that people ask is, how effective is this? Well, according to the research studies that have been performed over this past year, it is 95% effective. That's the estimate, 95% effective. Now, there were over 43,000 volunteers who volunteered in these vaccine trials. And of those 43,000 patients, there were about 170 cases of COVID-19 that occurred. Of those 170, 162 of those COVID-19 cases occurred in the group that did not receive the vaccine, compared to 8 cases of COVID-19 that occurred in the group that received the vaccine. Of those cases, of those 170, there were 10 cases that were determined to be considered severe cases of COVID-19, okay? Of those 10 severe cases, 9 of those occurred in the group that didn't get the vaccine, and only 1 occurred in the group that did get the vaccine. So again, to summarize, it seems to have an effectiveness of about 95%, and what is also encouraging is that there is the possibility that it may help prevent some of the more severe cases based off the preliminary information that we have, but only time will tell. So the next question is, can this really help the higher risk populations who are at who are at higher risk of developing COVID-19 or more severe, serious cases of COVID-19? The answer is encouraging, and it seems like, yes, it seems to offer protection to kind of the older age groups in our population. What I kind of applaud and appreciate about the data from the Pfizer BioNTech data is that they didn't just try to stack the deck in their favor, meaning they didn't just recruit volunteers who were healthy, 20-year-olds, okay? Of the US volunteers, okay, 45% of those volunteers were in the age ranges of 56 to 85, okay, 56 to 85, age groups that are considered kind of higher risk compared to the younger population. So knowing that 95% effectiveness rate kind of, applied to even the older population, that's pretty encouraging, okay? Now, how are the vaccinations given? How do you receive the vaccines? So the vaccines come as shots or injections into your muscle, intramuscular injections, kind of like a flu shot, all right? You require 2 doses, okay, 2 doses. So it's not a single dose like some of the other vaccines that are being developed. 2 doses. You receive your first shot, and then 21 days later, you get your second one. It's only 7 days after the second shot you have developed the immunity, okay? So 7 days after the second shot is when you develop the immunity. So it's important to know, so for the people out there in the UK or for other people who may be receiving this later on down the road, after you get your first shot, it's not like, hey, you're good to go, okay? The immunity occurs after the second shot, and the second shot occurs 21 days after the first one, okay? So that's how it's administered. The next question is, what are the side effects? Fortunately, from the information we have so far, and again, it's limited information, there were not any really severe side effects that were noted in what was published so far, okay? In terms of kind of the more severe side effects that did occur at least in 2% of the volunteers. The first one was fatigue. Fatigue occurred in about 3.7% of the volunteers who got 2 doses of the vaccine, and headaches occurred in about 2% of the volunteers that got 2 doses of the vaccine. So those are the known, at least common side effects that we know of so far, fatigue and headache. The next question is, how long will the immunity last for once you get vaccinated? The answer, unfortunately, is unclear. We don't know. Okay, like I mentioned, this is a process that usually takes years, but this vaccine was developed kind of at warp speed in less than a year and is already being rolled out for emergency use purposes. So the priority was trying to develop a vaccine that could make your immune system, kind of fight off the COVID-19 virus and prevent you from getting COVID-19. The question of how long-lasting the effect will be is not so clear yet, and hopefully we get more information about this as more research studies are done and as we kind of observe and collect information from people who are going to get this in the United Kingdom in the upcoming months. All right. Now, the next question is, how does the UK plan on rolling out the vaccine next week? Okay, so who are they prioritizing and how are they going to get it done? So in terms of the groups of people, they are kind of putting on a recommended priority list. They've kind of laid it out as the following. So kind of their top priority are kind of the higher risk populations. So the kind of elderly or older people living in long-term care facilities or care homes, as well as their caregivers who interact with them. The next priority is going to be, people the ages of 80 years and above, as well as frontline medical or healthcare workers, as well as social service workers. After that, the priority goes by age ranges in 5-year blocks. And what I mean by that is the next priority is people 75 and up, then 70 and up, 65 and up, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how their government has recommended the rollout in terms of groups of people and priority. In terms of where, locations of how this is going to be given, the priority is to make this available in hospitals and vaccination centers first. So hospitals and vaccination centers. So they are setting up sites where vaccines will be given out in mass. Okay, and these facilities are supposed to be open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to make this as widely accessible as possible. After that, the next priority is to make this vaccine available to pharmacies and doctors' offices. So right now, what is the availability of this Pfizer BioNTech vaccine? Right now, Pfizer themselves and BioNTech themselves estimates they have about 50 million doses available for this year in 2020. Okay. And they estimate that by the end of 2021, they should have 1.3 billion doses available. So right now, about 50 million doses. So the UK, the United Kingdom, is receiving about 800,000 doses next week. 800,000, so you divide that by 2, because you need 2 doses. They can vaccinate about 400,000 people. So they're going to receive about 800,000 next week. And they have supposedly, from reports that I can see throughout the media, they've ordered about 40 million doses. So 40 million doses divided by 2 means they can vaccinate 20 million people, which is about 1/3 of their population. So if you do the math, you can see there's already an issue. The supply chain is limited, okay? So they won't be able to vaccinate everybody, literally just because there's not enough vaccine available, as well as the complications of how to roll this out logistically. But it's a start, right? It's a start, and hopefully it's something we can learn from. Now, the next burning question is, now that the UK has approved a vaccine for emergency use, when will the United States do the same? When will the US FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, approve its first COVID-19 vaccine? Well, for this particular one, there have already been discussions, about some of the other vaccines already, but for the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, they're planning to have FDA advisory committee meeting on December 10th of 2020, which is just about a week away, to further review and discuss the request for emergency use of this same vaccine. So I think it'll be important to see what comes out of this December 10th meeting, if they're saying how much further review will be needed, or if they give any timelines of how long that review process will take, or what some of their concerns are or lack of concerns are. So December 10th, keep your eyes on the news to see if anything comes out from that meeting. So in summary, I see this as a big positive and optimistic step forward. We now have another weapon in this battle against COVID-19, and hopefully this is going to save lives, all right? Only time will tell, but that is my hope. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found this easy to digest, and hopefully we'll have more good news to come, and the eyes of the world are going to be on the UK for the upcoming weeks and months to see how things go. And I hope that we and other countries can see how things go and learn from their successes, learn from their setbacks, so we can try to be even more efficient when a vaccine like this or a different one rolls out, so that we can help people quickly and effectively and help save lives. Dr. Andrew Kim, be safe, everybody.